Hey, a brand new Locked On Lions live squad show starts right now. Welcome one, welcome all. Jake Riepma alongside Natalie Kerwin and Bradford Banta. The NFL calendar turns to free agency. I'm fired up and ready to go.
I'm fired up and ready to go. And I was going to make a comment about football until I heard Jake just say before we got on here that he is, quote, a groomzilla. And so that's what we need to address in the first segment. That is my tease for the show. Bradford Banta.
You know what? My idea for the entire show is that this week is where fans think everything is official before anything is official. But you know what? Today is flirting. Wednesday is marriage.
One pride. It's the Lions Squad. Everything Detroit Lions every week. Breaking down all the big hits and game-changing plays from the Motor City. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. From the roar of the Lions to the next great chapter, the Lions Squad Show starts now.
And here we go. Welcome into another edition of the Locked On Lions Squad Show. Jake Riepma, Natalie Kerwin, and Bradford Banta with you on the #1 sports podcast platform, the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for joining the live show. Fire up those comments. We appreciate it from all of us to you. A Monday edition and great show lined up. The Taylor Decker requests his release. NFL free agency is here. Our deep dive series continues. And Nat, you threw me under the bus to begin the show. That's why we're a little late on our show, because, we're in the pre-production meeting, a little banter back and forth. And I revealed something I thought was in confidence. And now our entire squad audience knows that sometimes, my feathers get a little ruffled, and I like deadlines to be met. And my beautiful fiance sometimes is a little more laissez-faire, we'll get to it eventually. Why are you freaking out? You groomzilla. So thank you for that, Nat. Great way to start the show.
You know what, though, Jake? You turned it into a positive. Like, yeah. I knew you would. And I just had never heard someone call themselves that before, or be called that. I've never heard groomzilla. I've only heard bridezilla. So, you know what? I feel like I'm on the same page with you. I like to be very organized. I am type A. So who knows? I hope I'm not a bridezilla one day, but could be. But I don't know. Anyway, I just had to bring that up because I thought it was funny, and we throw each other under the bus sometimes.
Absolutely.
Now I know you can get back at me for something, so it's all right. We'll go tit for tat here. Bradford, what do you think?
No comment. Look, I went through that 20-something years ago. So and that's so and then we'll see down the road with my kids, and we'll see how it goes. And that's where I'm hopefully there, that they can bounce ideas off of. So.
Absolutely. Okay. Another reason we were a little late getting on the air for our live show today is, guys, we received all kinds of swag from the Locked On Podcast Network, which is why they are the #1 sports podcast platform, because they reward their employees for working hard. I don't know what milestone we met, but we all received Locked On t-shirts in the mail. Come on, fire me up.
Woo! Should I try and grab it right now to show the people?
Yeah, I got mine somewhere. Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay, I'll hold down the fort while
Wait.
Oh, here we go. There it is.
Oh, you got gray. I got green.
Oh, did you? I got gray.
Oh, Nat.
Whoa.
Oh. What the heck? For our audience only, or for our audio only audience, Nat lucked out. Because, all right, while we've given Locked On their flowers, I got the same exact shirt last year. So now I have 2 of these same shirts, which is okay. Because I did brag earlier, though, that my favorite, there it is. My favorite gift from Locked On is my Locked On puck that hangs proudly in my background here.
Puck.
Yes, I used that when I went skating around Dallas to play some puck,
There you go.
But
with the boys, yeah,
exactly. They take care of us at Locked On, that's for sure. Shout out to our parent company, Tegna, who has just merged with Nexstar, I believe. I don't know, above our pay grade.
Dude, we got a lot of comments about the shirts. got a lot of comments about the shirt.
Yeah,
you know what? I think of it that Mont Arctica.
yeah,
So,
that's a
you know,
good comment right there.
you know, in Nat's defense, you know, I'd like to think of it like a little Sparty green. That's the way I like to look at it a little
I
bit.
mean, not quite. It's a
Not
little
quite.
sage
No,
green,
I
but
get
it's
it.
not Packers green either.
I know, but you got the yellow on there.
Mine is straight up Packers colors.
Yeah, I know.
Jake's is yeah.
We'll send it back.
Or
But,
Jake, if you want to do a tradesy so you don't have two of the same.
I might take you
Ooh.
up on that. That's big time.
There we go.
But
Okay.
I do also, I mentioned in our pre-production meeting that, you know, very, very thorough meeting that we go through, that this is just, you know, the tip of the iceberg for gifts from Locked On. As long as our squad show keeps rolling, we don't get fired, we stay together, and we continue to reach those milestones. Look out, because you guys are going to be, I think also we'll reach a point where you get to unlock points to use on the Locked On store. That's where I purchased my cool Locked On hat. And yeah, I mean, I like to be compensated by swag, and you know, forget the actual monetary value. If you send me a shirt, a hat, a quarter zip, whatever it is, that's worth its weight in gold. So Sam, if you're listening, actually no, I do need the paycheck. Actually, it goes
I was
right to
going to
rent.
say, you and I have
Like,
totally
I take
different
back
views on
everything I
this.
just said.
Yeah.
The puck is great, but it's not putting groceries on the table.
So look, for $20, you can have my shirt if you want it.
Wow. Okay, now we're trying to get stuff off each other here. Okay.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Well, I think on your birthday you get to pick stuff out from the Locked On store as well. That's where I got that white Locked On hoodie. It's just white and black. It's nobody's colors. So there you go.
Well, my birthday was in November and I got nothing.
Oh, sorry. That's probably
I think that was a lie, Jake. Or you maybe have to have like a year of like service time with Locked On, maybe to unlock that.
Or if you upload all of the graphics and the audio version, so long as you don't forget one time, then you get put on the birthday list. I think is how that works.
Because Bradford, your birthday was in the last
in December.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh gosh,
exactly.
Sorry guys.
Wow, Jake.
That's why you're hearing crickets from me right now. So that's it.
All right, let's get into it though. Detroit Lions conversation. It's NFL free agency. It is the latest and the last chapter of the Taylor Decker saga. And saga is probably too much, because to be fair to our guy Taylor Decker, in the Instagram post, which at some point I'm sure we'll read some point from that. Now, if you want to pull that up, that's your department, the Instagram social media stuff. But essentially, Taylor Decker wanting a clean breakup. And so there is an element of being proactive here. But Bradford, I'll kick it to you first, because you put it perfectly in our group chat when the news broke, what exactly this means.
Yeah, I mean, it's business. We've said it 1,000 times before on this show that the NFL is business. And, you know, and for him to ask for his release, I hope that him or his agent have something in their back pocket for him to sign elsewhere to continue his career. Because, you know, and then, you know, is it, you know, there's so many things involved with this, because, you know, there's one, monetarily is the signing bonus, whereas, you know, if you retire, you owe a prorated portion of your signing bonus back. If you know, he went in there and asked for his release, and I think by asking for your release, the club then releases you. So he is then entitled to keep that amount of money that he got on his signing bonus from this latest contract that he did sign. There's just a lot of factors involved. I'll be curious to see what happens. I don't think that Taylor's going to be a day one of free agency signing, but he may be looking to go elsewhere. Like I said, I hope by him asking to be released, I hope for his sake that, and I'm sure he does, he's got to have something in his back pocket or have at least an idea of where he wants to go and sign. So we'll see what happens. We'll see.
I mean, at the end of the day, he wanted to come back. He wanted to be a Lion, but we don't know what happened inside those conversations, but they obviously couldn't come to a deal on anything. And I do have his post up here. So I'll just read it from the top. We can dissect it.
do it.
So here we go. Here we go. Take it from the top. So he said, things changed. 145 games started, 3 playoff appearances, 2 division titles, a decade carrying the shield. I fully intended to do it once again, but my time as a Lion is coming to an end. In the weeks since notifying the team of my return, there have been numerous discussions, many of which were a surprise to me, and we could not find common ground. Therefore, I decided to request my release. I'm opting for a clean and amicable close to what has been such a beautiful 10 years going to war as a Lion. It has been the absolute privilege of my life to be your left tackle for the past 10 years, and I'm forever grateful for the opportunity the Ford family and Lions organization afforded me. And then on the next page, he talked about just thanking the fans and all of that. But that first part of it is really what I think hits home for a lot of us, where we have a lot of questions. You wonder what those numerous conversations were. He was excited to come back. Like in the original post was where he put the Bible verse we were discussing the other week, and like ready, yes, and like ready to go and really excited. So those conversations, they obviously just didn't see eye to eye on. I mean, I guess like you said, it comes down to business, comes down to pay, what they felt he'd be able to do at this point with how injury prone he is. Yeah, you just almost wish this would have been decided maybe a little bit earlier, right after the season ended, maybe. But maybe he really was taking some time to think, and the Lions were really trying to decide, what is he worth at this point? What's the risk of bringing him back, all of that. And again, trying to clear a little bit of cap space as well. And there is another part to think about.
In just speaking, in from a, let's just say a Lions point of view and just the business side, whenever he announced that, let's say he was, retiring, for lack of a better term, or trying to make up his mind, the Lions possibly gave it some thought, some serious thought, and okay, what are the pros and cons? And you write them all up on the proverbial whiteboard, pros and cons of him coming back and then of him not coming back. And I would imagine that of him not coming back, the pros of that outweighed the idea of him coming back. And one of those is possibly moving Penei Sewell over to left tackle and then going out either via free agency or, draft, is getting a right tackle to come in and take Sewell's place and then move Sewell over to left tackle. And, and then you think back on the season, what the Lions had to do during the week to make sure Taylor was prepared to play in the game. And did his play warrant that attention that they spent on him, and all the lost reps that they had during the season by managing him? Did that warrant bringing him back? And so he says he wants to come back. So now with him coming back, is that conversation? It's a tough conversation to have with a player being like, okay, you're coming back. This is going to be your role now. Now, is it the role that Dan Skipper had as being a swing tackle and not starting, and then possibly playing the jumbo tight end? So these are just talking points that we could have. But that could have been the thought process from the Detroit Lions side of the ball, that they may have had with those conversations, inside the building, not only within, the personnel and coaching staff, but also with Decker. And that may be something that he did not agree with, and it's not how he thought he would be received. So this is the final ultimatum where the two sides came upon an amicable agreement to release him and said, thanks for your service, but it's time to move on.
Right. There's not always the perfect breakup, and I know that's a cliche, but when it became apparent that the two sides are probably, this is how we feel, this is how I feel, there's not going to be an agreement that mutually benefits either one of them, and the only option was the breakup component of it all. And Bradford, I had the immediate thought that you did, and a couple of guys this morning on the Fan asked me, where did it all go wrong? And I kind of leaned into how transparent Taylor Decker was at the end of the season and everything that it took to get him in a position to be able to play. And right, wrong, or indifferent, when that information is out there, that becomes a part of the conversation where, wait a second, this is in 2025. And obviously, the calendar turns to 2026 for the last portion of the season, but projecting where you're going to be a year from now at that time to be a productive contributor, what it took a year ago to even be able to suit up for the Lions, there's a lot there. And I'm not saying he was his own worst enemy by sharing all that, but it certainly is a part of the conversation where how sustainable is that to then try and realistically say, yeah, I'm going to do that exact same approach for another year at one of the most important positions on the field, at a position group that desperately needs the continuity to return to its former self. So that checks a number of different thought process, decision-making components from the front office side of things, where I think that had a major factor.
Agreed. There's no other way to put it. I mean, this is a business decision based on both sides, and and whether it's amicable or not, so be it. But thanks for your service, thanks for your 10 years, for being a Detroit Lion. And in my mind, the organization will always relish your participation or the time that you spent in the Detroit area, and it's very much appreciated. But I believe it's time for both sides to part ways, and we'll go right, you go left.
Yeah. And 10 years, 2016. I mean, I think back, I started at the Ticket in 2018, and those were some of the worst Lions memories of my life. And Taylor Decker was there for it all. And, the first division title, Nat, you and I have talked about this before, where that meant so much to Lions fans that had been through so much, and he was the right person to be able to have that soundbite and have that moment on the field after the first divisional title. And we do have to get to some of these comments. Nat, I don't want to cut you off because I know we shared that same sentiment with Taylor Decker, but some of these comments, my guy Micro Mike is just cracking me up in the comment section. Want to say hello to Lions Today. That's my guy Micro Mike. Check out his content on Lions Today. But he's got a great solution here for the tackle position. We got to bring back Dominic Raiola. Yeah, I mean,
it's center, man. Center. You want to talk about bringing him back? You get Backus. Get Backus. Yeah. Get a little shout out.
Oh my
gosh.
There you go.
Bring Dom back at center. Yeah. R2 center. RB2. Let's go.
I love it. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff from Lions Today. But
I heard I did hear that they're in talks with Barry.
So,
yeah.
Oh, sure.
You got serious on us there for a second. I was like, who are they in talks with? Who are they in talks with?
I'm gonna get my jersey out. I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm ready. I got my Barry jersey hanging up.
Yeah, because hey, the division has been active. If you saw the Rashawn Gary news going over to the Dallas Cowboys for a fourth round pick, lots of teams have already been super active. But Nat, I did want to give you the last word on Taylor Decker before we take a break. If you had one, if not, let's take a break. Keep the lights on.
Okay. I mean, I feel like you guys already said it. We wish him well. You wonder if another team will pick him up based on all the comments that he did make at the end of the season. Like, what other team wants to deal with someone that's basically on their last legs? I'm just saying that's not a positive to end with. So I probably shouldn't have said anything at all. But Taylor Decker, 2016 to 2026, that's a long time to be with an organization that's been down here then up here, then this last year a little more. But he's been through it all, and he's been a cornerstone for this group. So it'll be different without him. We'll be looking at a very different. I mean, the loss of Monty, the loss of him, Graham Glasgow gone. Like they got some holes to fill, and that's why when free agency just opened up at noon,
boom!
now
Look at
we got
that.
people to look at.
She's
Wait! Breaking news! Did you guys just see
a
this?
consummate professional.
Hold on, there's a piece of breaking news. Not on the Lions side though.
But I got to give a shout out to Todoro 26 and also your boy at Lions Today. So yeah, I'm a Toby Keith song, baby. May not be as good as I once was, but I'm good once as I ever was. So let's go.
I love it.
But BB is also good.
I just
there's
saw
a piece of
news.
Oh, you did. Okay, I was gonna say, do we wait till we come back from break to address the start of free?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, let's do this.
Stick around. We're coming right back on the Locked On Lions Squad Show. Hey, today's episode of the Locked On Lions Squad Show is brought to you by our good friends at Game Time. Oh, baby, roll up the sleeves, buckle up, dial it in. We live in a world where we can stream anything. You can order food in minutes and carry supercomputers in your pocket. And somehow buying tickets to a live game still feels complicated. The hidden fees, the jumping prices, endless steps. There has to be a better way. Well, that's why I use the Game Time app. It gives fans the advantage and makes getting tickets simple, whether that's NFL games, concerts, comedy, maybe March Madness, whatever you're into. You just jump on the app, check out the tickets for an upcoming game, and honestly, you get those tickets in seconds, maybe minutes, but you get the idea. You can see panoramic views from every seat before you buy, and these are high-res photos. It's not the grainy renderings that maybe some other apps might use. Here's the best part. You hear nothing else. Hear this. The price you see is the price you pay. What a concept. It includes all the fees, so there are no surprises at checkout. You can even spot zone deals. You pick the section. Game Time picks the seats for some extra savings. 2 taps and you've got great seats locked in, fast, easy, done. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Now, you got to create an account. Terms apply. But once you create that account, use the code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, for $20 off. Download Game Time today and make ticket buying easy. Give the advantage back to the fans. Locked On Lions Squad Show, Jake Riepma, Natalie Kerwin Bradford Banta. Thanks for joining us live, because when you join the show live, you are the first to hear the breaking news around the National Football League as we embark upon a very exciting time in free agency leading up to the draft. So Natalie Kerwin, our fashionista, our social media advisor, and now our breaking news correspondent.
Okay, are you guys ready?
We were born right.
Drum roll, please. Kenneth Walker is leaving the Seattle Seahawks to sign with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's spicy. Spicy.
Yep. That is spicy.
Your close personal friend, Kenneth Walker, right?
I know.
Michigan State?
Yeah. Michigan State boy, K9. This makes me, wow.
Champion. I'm
Super
sure
Bowl
there's,
MVP.
I was just going to say, I'm sure there's some historical fact around the last Super Bowl MVP that then signed with a new team in free agency in that following offseason. So, I'm curious because the Chiefs needed that injection of new life, but I saw Travis Kelce's planning to come back as well. And Andy Reid has always been, the offensive guru that can find ways to get different pieces involved. But, Kenneth Walker, that's a prominent piece to add to an offense that needed some life after a really disappointing season.
Right. Because all they had, Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, was that their 1-2 punch?
Yeah. Yes. Rashee Rice, but he doesn't need to be mentioned.
Well,
he's a bad person.
Yeah.
He does bad things. Sorry. I drive on the highway every single morning going to work of exactly what that happened. We don't need to get into all that, and the team wearing free Reishi Rice shirts. Yeah, that just gets my blood boiling a little bit. But on to other things about the Kansas City Chiefs here on Locked On Lions.
I'm waiting for Bradford's comment on that.
Just continue. Let's go.
Okay, let's go.
All right. We segue seamlessly. You don't even notice the segue into NFL free agency. And one of the comments that first jumped off the screen to me, all the way at the top here from Raven Feather 8926. Why haven't we done anything yet? And it's a
I'm
great
with
question.
you there.
Let's get the ball rolling. Let's get the pens out, sign some contracts. We've got some moves to be made, and it's not always that simple now, is it, Bradford Banta?
I would say it's not. And whenever I first saw that comment from Raven Feather, I was just wondering if he was a Raven fan. Since they pulled off the Max Crosby trade. Yeah.
I texted you guys when it happened. A little Friday night news dump there, but I think, and let's talk about that a little bit, because the 2 first rounders, that's steep. And there are sources in my camp that reported that the Cowboys offered a first round pick, a player to be named, but wouldn't go as far as doing the 2 first round picks. And that was where Baltimore was willing to send it all in. And, Baltimore feels like they've been that team that's been a piece away for the last several years, obviously capitalizing on that window with Lamar Jackson still. And, they certainly become scary in the AFC. And I don't think the Lions really emerged as one of the potential teams. And, the Bears were in conversations, Cowboys and Ravens, and ultimately he goes to Baltimore.
Yeah, just some of the stories that you read, he was becoming kind of a PETA for the Raiders, and because he knew he was the guy on that team. And, one of the things that he would do, and this is from various sources quoted, is, he would commit a major no-no. And that's really, it's hitting and touching the red shirts, meaning the quarterbacks, during, whenever he was in rushing sessions. And it doesn't matter what string the quarterback is. That's just a major no-no. You just stay off the red shirts, and that's what the quarterbacks wear during practice. And he was kind of becoming a major PETA. And what I mean by PETA is just pain in the, and you can gather what the A stands for as well.
I had not heard that. That's
me neither. A PETA. I was like, huh?
Well, I've heard of PETA. I had not heard that.
Were you talking about the Max Crosby?
Yes.
Yeah. So he inside the organization, he truly, he liked playing for the Raiders, but he knew he had the upper hand, and he knew that nobody could say anything to him. So we'll see if he darts around the edge during practice, and he puts a hand on an elbow or something of Lamar Jackson. We'll see what happens. In that case, that could become quickly escalate to a offense versus defense type deal, where some of the defensive players be like, "Hey, dude, that's our moneymaker right there. So you stay off of him. It's our job to protect him, and you stay off the quarterback. So we can tell on film that you got the sack, just don't get near him." So that's all I heard about it. Yeah. So no, it's a valid point. It's a valid point. It seemed like the Lions were positioning themselves to possibly be in the mix. But I think it just eventually came up where it was just a little too rich for their blood to jump into that fracas, so to speak.
I got to apologize, because while we were talking Locked On t-shirts and Locked On hockey pucks and things we've been sent, there's some other notable moves. Alec Pierce staying with the Indianapolis Colts. And I know this is all league wide, but I had heard lots of rumblings that, he had one foot out the door. He had even made comments himself that I believe the statement he made is he's earned this opportunity to essentially shop the market because of his production, which when you get a player starting to think like that, you certainly lend to thinking they're on their way out. But he's going to stay in Indianapolis, which is really, again, surprising. Doesn't directly affect us. In the division, the trade this morning with Rashawn Gary being sent to the Dallas Cowboys. I was surprised as I started to listen to some of the conversation around Rashawn Gary, how Packers fans had really soured on him and were excited to show him the door, because the anticipation when they brought in Micah Parsons that, just like when you're surrounded by talent, there's that thought that, hey, you're going to see more single man blocks and have an opportunity to really elevate your game. And he just didn't do that in Green Bay. So he's on to, still saying in the NFC, but on to play for the Cowboys. I believe just a 4th rounder that they got for him. But there's a lot of bullets flying right now, and that's what makes this time of year pretty fun. And we'll, why we're live on the air while it all happens. So I think, sorry, go ahead, Bradford.
No, I was just kind of correlate things here. And I think that's what a lot of people thought whenever we signed Marcus Davenport last year. That, with Hutch getting all the double and triple teams, whenever he was coming back from his injury and was able to play the whole season this past year, they were expecting those type of production numbers from Marcus Davenport. And I do not look for the Detroit Lions to re-sign Marcus as well. And then, I'll be curious to see if I think that Muhammad, with the year that he had, it's just got a little bit. He's going to command, a pretty good salary, and hats off to him for having the type of year that he had. He took advantage of the situation where you thought Marcus Davenport was going to take advantage of the situation, and unfortunately, Marcus was not able to suit up for all the games this year.
There's another name, just continuing with free agency, of a guy that could be available, according to Ian Rappaport. The 49ers are now said to be open to trading Trent Williams. And so you think about, you're losing Taylor. Is that a guy that you'd like to take on? Absolutely. But here's the problem. He's due $32 million in salary with a $38 million plus cap number. And the Lions are already dealing with some cap issues. So
that guy's resume, Pro Bowls, everything else, he's just been a phenomenal player for his entire career. Injury-wise, I think he was banged up a little bit this year. But could you imagine Williams and Penei Sewell as your bookend tackle?
I tell you, I had the good fortune of being on the coaching staff at Washington whenever he was still playing for Washington. And I mean, his nickname's Silverback. And no, don't laugh, because my man is he is amazing, and he still performs at a high level. He did miss a season because of a misdiagnosed, I think, cancer in his on his head. Wow. And it was misdiagnosed, and it was very aggravating for him. And so I tell you, his athletic ability at that size, and to watch him run down the field on a screen pass, to lead the way for the running back. There were times that he was outpacing or gaining distance from the running back whenever he was running down the field. And you're talking about a man that is, 300 plus pounds.
That's crazy.
And it's fun to watch him play, because he's one of these players that can call his shot and then follow through with what he said he was going to do. He's that type of player. And it just goes to show with just the year in, year out production, that what he's done for every team that he's been a part of.
100%. And my guy, Micro Mike's backing you up on Lions today. BB has me convinced Williams and Penei running. Yeah, because you can say I've heard Penei Sewell's game be described in a similar way, where just the sheer athleticism is what jumps out at the jumps off the page, and regardless of what position they're playing, to see a body that big maneuver that way is just it defies physics. But a couple more. This is why being live is fun. Defensive end, I had my eye on, edge rusher, what do we want to call him? Jalen Phillips, who was with the Eagles, previously with the Miami Dolphins. And I was doing a lot of Dolphins content in 2023 when he was just on a tear, and then had speaking of tear, tore his ACL, knee injuries. But he signs a 4-year, $120 million deal with the Carolina Panthers, $80 million guarantees. So the Panthers, hey, this isn't the laughable Carolina Panthers anymore. They're loading up. They're trying to get back to the playoffs, and that's a big name and a big contract for Jalen Phillips, who I think he's had 2 torn ACLs, multiple knee issues, but not old enough to where he's on the back end of his career by any means. But I think that's a lot of guaranteed money for Jalen Phillips. But I did have my eye on him as a potential splash signing at the edge position, but he goes to Carolina.
Yeah,
Jeez.
you can. This is your bingo card, Jake. Now you can just fill in that square right now. So he's gone.
There you go. We will continue to monitor the live breaking news wire. Those reports are coming directly to us here on Locked On Lions Squad. So we've got our team of breaking news journalists all set up and ready to bring you the latest. But let's do our deep dive position wise. What do we got next? The linebackers? Yeah, the linebackers. Linebackers coming up next on Locked On Lions Squad show. But first, today's episode is brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. All right, here's the situation. By now that every now and then your boy messes some things up. Today's episode is brought to you by Indeed. That's right, Indeed. All right, listen up and listen good. Let's try this again. So sorry about that. We do it live. Workplace chaos, deadlines, they're stacking up. Your inbox is overflowing, and the one position you have to still fill, well, it's sitting wide open. When the pressure is on, you need the right hire. This is a job for Sponsored Jobs. Indeed, Sponsored Jobs help you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for, the skills, the experience, the location, all of it. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. You can be certain. In fact, here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours, they made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who actually check all your boxes with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Spend less time searching, more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. We got that on there twice. Good. Less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of this show will get $75 in sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about it on the Locked On Lions Squad show. That's right. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. You need to hire. This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Crushing it today. We are all over it on the Locked On Lions Squad show. Yeah, it's going to happen from time to time. What are you going to do? Deep dive position group. I think we've gone pretty much all over the place. It's time to get in on the linebackers because I've got some Bears fans, unfortunately, that I hear from time to time, and they want to know what's this Alex Anzalone guy like? Are they going after him? And there's interest. We've talked about the interest that the Jets had in Alex Anzalone. I personally have some interest in Alex Anzalone staying with the Detroit Lions, but this is an important position group. Nat, your initial thoughts on just where the Lions can go at the linebacker position, obviously anchored by Jack Campbell, but some supporting characters like Alex Anzalone, crucial to the success of the defense.
Yes, he was the leader of the defense. And so that would be a big loss if he does end up going to the Jets or elsewhere. And you don't want it to be all on Jack Campbell. You don't want to rely so much heavily on your secondary, who is also in question right now. There's some big names a few big names that are out there ish, and I can go over those. But Bradford, if you want to make a comment first, then I can tell you who some of the free agents are that are available. Or you want me to get right into it?
Get after it.
Let's get after it. Okay, so here are 5 that could be available: Devin Lloyd, Quay Walker, who we are familiar with.
Oh, I hold on real quick.
You can stop there.
When a player does something that you'll just never unsee, this is why I couldn't be a coach. I tell my brother this. I told my dad when he was around this. My human nature can't unsee things. And Quay Walker, you know where I'm going with this. That Sunday night game, he physically pushes down an athletic trainer for the Detroit Lions. Like what? How can you lose your mind that just egregiously? And again, I don't know how I could look that guy if I'm a coach. Like, yeah, this guy gives us the best chance to win. The guy that just pushed over the poor athletic trainer. Sorry, go on.
Might not be a culture guy that the Lions want to take on, and if you can't forget it, fans can't forget.
Yeah, maybe he's changed, but I was just like, this dude, man. And how many years ago was that? I still like vividly can just see him. No,
was it 3? 4?
I lived in Michigan still. It was a while.
You did?
Yeah,
okay.
It was before the Lions ever made the playoffs. It was Aaron Rodgers' last game in Green Bay.
Oh, it still just like lives rent free in my head too. So it just feels like yesterday,
Yeah.
Sorry, so Quay Walker. This next one I have a little bit of an issue with, just from my college days. Devin Bush. Bradford, were you at Michigan when he was there?
When his dad was a coach on staff, or was an analyst on staff with me. At Michigan, and that's how we got to know each other. And then his dad ended up going down to Ole Miss to help out down there. So
I'm remembering that right though. He tore up the field at MSU. Correct?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about. I was working the Michigan pregame show on WWJ. I was the producer for that, and it's not often on a pregame show. Pregame show, you pretty much have it scripted out what you want to say. Here's the keys to the game. And we had to break in. We got breaking news at Spartan Stadium. The logo's being torn up. So I remember that was another one. I remember right where I was when that happened.
Yeah. But it said he had a big breakout year last year with the Cleveland Browns. Career best 125 tackles, 3 interceptions, after not having a single interception for 5 straight seasons. So there's another name. Alex Anzalone is on this list. We already know what you're getting with that. And then this one, veteran, but still has some left in the tank, Bobby Wagner.
Yeah,
that's what it says.
He's been the fine wine that has just gotten better with age, and maybe not better, but he hasn't aged. I guess is a good way to put it. He's the opposite of our favorite Bradford Banta. He's not leaking oil, but that's maybe, at
that's
some point,
what I'm looking for.
Those oil leaks can be, unexpected, and an old machine that's as long in the tooth as Bobby Wagner, you don't know when it's coming, but up until this point, he certainly hasn't.
Nakobe Dean also available, guys, too. I'm gonna add that in there.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of Cowboys' interest in Nakobe Dean as a signing and how he would fit there, with Christian Parker being the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. I've also heard Tremaine Edmonds. Is he on that list? Did you mention him?
No, I didn't, but yep, he is too.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts, and especially with as the NFL evolves, and we love to talk about the evolution of the league, but when the Lions drafted Jack Campbell in the first round, it was the same narrative and conversation around Jahmyr Gibbs. Oh, you can't pick a running back that high. You can't pick a linebacker that high. There's not enough positional value. But Jack Campbell has proved how important of a pick that it was and how important of a position that is. And I know, Bradford, you feel the same way, that narratives be damned. Like if the guy can play football, and Jack Campbell obviously can, there's a position of need and impactfulness to have. And I think the Lions, their linebacker core is crucial. It's just like any team's linebacker core.
No, we've said it before. It doesn't matter. it doesn't matter where you get picked. It just matters that you're on the team and you're contributing. And, in the case of Gibbs and Campbell, both being first round picks, they ended up, showing their value to the team and with their play on Sunday, as well as their value in the locker room and bringing that leadership ability and being basically flag bearers for the team. And that's one thing. If Anzalone does get away like it looks like he's going to, he wore the C for a reason. He was the captain, and that's voted on by the team. And it's not a position to be taken lightly, because that's who everybody looks to whenever things get a little hairy, and that's who everybody looks to when things are going great. And the captain on the team is the direct voice of the locker room to the coaching staff, and that's the person who goes to Dan or goes to the position coach or the coordinator and voices the opinion of the team. And I've always, and I told my players this, and I told my kids this, if you have a problem, come to me and let's talk it out. But the only thing that I ask, if you come to me with a problem, I want you to have a solution as well. So that way we can at least have a starting point in talking things out. And that's one that Alex has done a good job, because I was on the staff down in New Orleans whenever we drafted Alex in that 2017 draft class. And, and there were some questions about Alex health-wise coming out of the University of Florida, but he has since dampened those questions about him, and he's proved to be a very productive player in the NFL with the Saints and also the Lions, more so with the Lions than with the Saints.
I got another piece of news if anyone wants it.
I was wondering if you would.
What you got, Natty K?
Okay, the Dolphins have found their new QB.
You
ready?
Yes.
Ooh.
Malik Willis.
Oh,
Ooh.
that'll be interesting.
3-year, $67.5 million deal with $45 million fully guaranteed. Whew.
That's a lot. I felt like Malik Willis was going to be the resurgent new shiny toy that offensive coordinators and offensive minded coaches wanted to get their hands on because of the sample size that he put up in Green Bay this year with Jordan Love out and how good he was. And I feel like Sam Darnold, people always talk about how every golfer should always thank Tiger Woods for how much money they make. Every quarterback that gets a second chance should thank Sam Darnold for what he's done in winning the Super Bowl. And now, not that Malik Willis needed a second chance, but he certainly helped his own stock with how well he played in the few opportunities he had.
I thought he took total advantage of it. And the same thing with Darnold. I mean, this was Darnold's 5th team after being a first-round pick for the Jets. And to go on, and I think we covered it in after the Super Bowl, but I think he was the first quarterback to be on 5 teams and then come in and win a Super Bowl. So hats off to him. So
there was also, if we're just I like the breaking news stuff. It's
Me
fun.
too. I was gonna say I got another one. If you want to take it away, Jake?
Let's ping pong this one. If I steal yours, then I'm sorry. Giants reached an agreement 3 years with former Ravens tight end Isaiah Likely, another tight end off the board. And Isaiah Likely, I feel like he was a highlight guy where he had some really impressive highlights, but the sample size and sustained consistency is probably what they're hoping to get the most out of him. So, all right, Nat, over to you in your breaking news corner.
That was it. That was the news.
Oh,
but
no.
I know. I'm stalking all the pages though and waiting.
Well,
to see
you got a familiarity, right, with Isaiah Likely. So
yeah.
Harbaugh. Mm-hmm. So going from the Ravens to the Giants.
Good point.
And I mean it's a 4-hour drive. So it's not that far to move.
Yeah, here's one more. Broke a couple of minutes ago. I know Mike was all over it in the comments, but the Colts are trading Michael Pittman to the Steelers. That's a big one. We hadn't said that yet, had we?
No.
That's a big wide receiver splash for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who feel like that offense needs a little reboot, little retooling. So we got lots of bullets flying right now. That's the beauty of this time of the year, where you get all the Twitter notifications. But we got one more segment left. I'm gonna try and do better this final segment coming up next. Right here on the Locked On Lions Squad show.
It all starts with this read.
Oh, how
There
about
was
that?
no read.
Oh!
I know. I don't get to right the wrong. Damn it. Now I'm gonna have that back. It's like a jump shooter. Just I missed my last shot. You can't miss your last shot. You always end on a make. Man.
You know what? Join us Wednesday
Yeah.
for redemption.
Yeah.
True.
There we go. Redemption. I like
right.
it. But final segment of the program, Locked On Lions. Appreciate everybody tuning in. It's been a fun show. A lot of breaking news. I did see in the comments, I do need to rework the thumbnail. That's on me. Taylor Decker is out, not wants out, because I was in a rush to put together a thumbnail and the creative juices weren't flowing. And this is the first show we've had since the Taylor Decker news. So, of course, we're going to talk about it. I'll work on that. So I appreciate, who was that? That's got me on my toes. Ross Dye. Thank you for that. We demand excellence here on the Locked
It was
On.
like,
Yeah, here. Okay, let's just jump back into the linebackers. And here's the question I pose. Do you address linebackers via free agency, or do you address it in the draft? And
I did see that. I like that question because you've got some high achievers at the linebacker position that will obviously be first round picks, but I'll double down on the fact that I don't know if every team has kind of adapted or bought in, if you will, of the Brad Holmes, and not that he's the only general manager that does this, but there's still, I think, some position hesitancy to take a guy like Sonny Styles that high, just because of the position. And I don't know if every team is on that same wavelength, but again, it contributes to the conversation. And then Arvell Reese, I think people look at Arvell Reese as like a Micah Parsons type player that you can move around, and you're not necessarily drafting a linebacker, you're drafting a playmaker, defensive player, that you have that flexibility to put him in different positions to help impact your defense. But I do think that's a great question, Bradford, because I'm starting to get to the point with the Lions, especially in the first round and first couple of rounds, where because we're seeing things happen, the shift in the landscape more drastic than we have in previous years, just in terms of personnel, I think you can make a case with a couple of different positions to invest in those early round picks: offensive line, edge, corner, and now having the discussion about linebacker. And it's one of those things, I don't think there's a wrong answer.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Jake. There's the comment, the latest comment to come in. Could you put that up there? So it's really, Eddie, just to answer that question, there is yes, drafting and free agency, roster construction, all that comes into play, but also to make it to and then eventually win the Super Bowl, there is a tremendous amount of luck that goes into it. And part of that luck is constant maintenance on your roster. And what I mean by that is having the same starters that start day one or week one for you end up starting in the Super Bowl for you as well. And then just the maintenance on every one of the players and making sure you get through the season healthy. And that's one thing that the Lions have had trouble doing over the past few seasons, is making sure that week one roster is the same as the Super Bowl week roster. and that is the main component, because it allows that team to gel even more rather than adding new components to it. I believe that the only setback that let's just say the Seattle Seahawks really had this past season was whenever Charbonnet went down. What was it, the first round of the playoffs? I believe it was. So that was their only major setback that they had. I mean, if you go back and you look at their defense and you look at the special teams and primarily offense, they kept that core group of players intact, and they were able to gel together and come together as a team. And they were able to pivot just a little bit at the running back situation, with Kenneth Walker being able to carry a majority of the load throughout the remainder of the playoffs, and then inserting at the right time or having a short list of plays whenever they put, I can't remember the second running back that they had behind Walker in the Super Bowl, but they were able to spell Walker for a couple plays. So they were able to put together a good offensive package whenever that did occur. So I hope that answers your question.
Answered my question. And
it answered mine too.
For the audio only audience, it was talk to us about how we can actually get to a Super Bowl, what would be needed to get there. I think it's a good place to take a little time out for a couple of days, call it quits before we get back into it on Wednesday, right? Because we've got Pistons basketball tomorrow night. Natalie Kerwin. We got what's going on? I actually, you know what? We've got enough time for me to maybe apologize. I feel like since we started the Locked On Pistons squad show, we've been in a funk, and that seems to happen. Yeah, listen, I'm nothing if I'm not at least transparent and apologetic, and it would mean a lot, since you opened the show by throwing me under the bus, if you would just accept my sincerest apologies.
Yeah, I thought you were about to throw me under the bus or something, and I was like, I'm not the one who started Locked On Pistons.
No, we got to get you on, though. We got to get you on.
I know. I would love to. Right now, I mean, it's tough. 4 straight losses. They haven't had that all season, Jake. They haven't even had 3 straight losses.
Natalie, you can break the curse.
Come on.
Curse.
How do I break it?
Getting on the show. Getting on the show.
That's what we need to break the curse.
That's right.
Yeah.
They need a little mojo. They need a little Natty K mojo.
They need a little, for sure. Give some life to the show with you and Lindsay and Koo.
Right now they're leaking oil.
Yeah, a lot of leaking oil.
I know. But for any Pistons fans listening, do not go crazy and jump off the ship.
No.
Every team goes through a little bit of a lull. The Thunder did this season. And the Pistons have been going, head to head with them for the best record in the league all season, right? So it's like, the fans that are like tweeting and getting all frustrated, and I'm seeing so many of them. I'm like, guys, you gotta it's all good. They're gonna get, they will get their revenge tomorrow at Brooklyn. They will. They're not gonna let that loss from last week. They can't let it hang over their heads.
Yeah,
blowing a 23-point lead.
I stopped watching. I mean,
Bradford, they did.
Yeah, up 23 to the worst team in the NBA. And I don't know if they're the worst, but they're certainly abysmal.
4 corners. Jeez.
Yeah, take the air out of the basketball. Come on.
Exactly. I know. So they'll get it together. I do have a feeling. You don't just you don't lose the identity that you've played with all season. I mean, it's lost right now, but I don't know.
It's not lost. It's just misplaced, and they'll find it.
It's a great way to put it. Okay, misplaced.
We'll end on that. I made one of my few good points that comes out every quarter, once a quarter.
So often.
Yeah. Once a quarter.
Yeah, Jake.
Let's go. Big time. All right, great show. Lots of breaking news. If you missed it, the audio only version, I'm gonna put it up right now. How about that, sports fans? And you can always find us on YouTube. Make sure you check out The Daily Show with Matt Derry. He does a phenomenal job. For the 20-year NFL veteran, Bradford Banta, the Detroit Pistons sideline reporter, Natalie Kerwin, and I'm just some guy that gets a Locked On t-shirt every now and then in the mail. Have a wonderful rest of your day. See you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.